It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we got a beer from Burn Mill and Lost and Grounded. This is a Cold Thaw Cold IPA coming in at 6% ABV in a 440ml can. There's a look at the can there, looks really good. Looks like the thawing of a massive iceberg there. So, what is Cold IPA? I'll tell you in a moment. But first and foremost, let's get this can out into a... Ooh. Ooh, now then. Do you know, I always talk about, are there craft brewers, give them a chance, this sort of thing happens. This sort of thing happens and you've got to give them a chance, and it's all handmade stuff, and it's not like big beer where, let's be honest, when was the last time you opened a can of Carling or a can of Foster's or a can of Stella or any of the kind of big breweries beers and they exploded on you like that? They generally don't, do they? They generally don't. And I always try to give craft brewers a chance when this happens. But, and there is a but in this, I paid over £5 for this can, and it is ever so slightly annoying when that happens. And that wasn't a small explosion, was it? I mean, I'm having to stand on the side of the camera here because the floor is soaking wet. We'll crack on regardless, but I feel like the review started on the back foot now, and I've got to try and reset my mind. I've got to try and recalibrate my mind, if you like. Let's do it. Because I want to talk good things about craft beer, and I want to talk about the reasons why I think a can of craft beer is worth over £5 a can. And we'll get to all of these things in a moment, but One Finger Whitehead, good levels of carbonation, hazy, light, amber, close to straw coloured beer. Let's get the aroma. So we've got a lot to talk about, haven't we? Price of a can, spillage of a can, and what is Cold IPA. So I'm picking up a little bit of a lager yeast here, and the reason why I'm picking up a lager yeast is because this Cold IPA has been brewed with lager yeast, and depending on, I had two answers from Google. Google AI told me that it was a beer fermented slightly colder, and there was another blog that I read that it said it was fermented slightly warmer. So depending on which one it is, that's Cold IPA. But it's generally a crisp IPA that's been brewed with lager yeast and then dry hopped at the end. Smells fantastic, really lovely aroma. Lots of citrus punch in here. Bit of kiwi fruit and grapefruit in there. Orange peel, fleshy blood orange, bit of spiciness in there. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Oh. It's wonderful. It's absolutely I'm a bit shorter because my legs are spread, over the puddle. It's fantastic beer. It really is fantastic beer. The level of flavour here is, can't do that. The level of flavour here is just incredible. It's an elevated flavour. Everything is elevated. You pay the money because everything is elevated. Everything is much better. I've just finished reviewing a load of Sainsbury's supermarket craft beer, IPA, sours, whatnot, and as much as I thought they were okay, pretty decent for £3.50 a can, you can definitely taste the over £5 can here compared to supermarket craft beer. This is the whole hog. This is the Lamborghini versus the Ford Fiesta. The Ford Fiesta will do its job. It will probably get you on holiday and take your kids to school, with you driving, of course. It'll take you to work, and it'll do all the things that you want it to do. But a Lamborghini will do it better. A Lamborghini will be generally yellow and be very fast and make you feel lovely and warm and fuzzy as you drive it. And this is what this beer is doing to me right now. It's making me warm and fuzzy inside. And it's making me think, oof, that was worth my £5. Now, I'm not the richest man in the world. Never claimed to be, never will be probably. But there are times in my life where if I've got a little bit of extra money at the end of the month and I'm about to be paid again and I go, oof, there's a little bit left over, I might pop to the bottle shop or can shop and I might splurt out on a couple of beers, not only for the channel and for the channel's sake, but for my own sake, for my own sanity. I can buy these ranges of supermarket craft beers from Sainsbury's and I can be almost like this, putting them in my trolley, going, oh, this is like a mojito sour, like, oh God, you know, let's review this one. Tesco's have done a drop. I was sent a message by somebody saying Tesco's got a lot of new beers in, and they sent me some pictures of the beers. I was looking at the beers thinking, that's a slog. That's a slog for me. That's working really hard for me. That's working really hard because I don't really want to do it. Whereas this, let's get to some flavours. It's crisp, it's refreshing, it's lovely, it's juicy, it's hoppy everywhere. It's orange peel, grapefruit, fleshy blood orange, but on an elevated level, a much, much elevated level. Yes, I started off the review a little bit annoyed that beer has gone over all my floor. I'm a bit annoyed that I lost a little bit. I probably lost a mouthful. And yeah, you're paying £5 for a beer and you don't necessarily want to lose a mouthful, do you, for that £5? But I'm still going to revert back to the fact that the beer's so good, it's so tasty, and it's brewed on a much smaller scale. And accidents happen within the craft beer industry because it's more handmade. You know, it's not meant to look like a loaf of Hovis compared to a loaf of sourdough bread that might be lumpy and bumpy but tastes great. You know, a loaf of Hovis is going to be an oblong kind of square slab of bread, isn't it? And it'll look exactly the same to the next loaf of Hovis. So rating for this is great. It's hoppy, it's elevated, it's flavoursome, it's juicy, it's fantastic, it's crisp. That's the big thing about this, it's so crisp and tasty. Stone the Crows, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box, subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews, give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom, cheers.